Terence Crawford is looking massive ahead of his 168-pound division debut against Canelo Alvarez. Recent behind-the-scenes training footage showed a much bulkier version of Crawford showcasing his transformation and pretty much ending this whole debate of him being a small fighter. Now, ever since Crawford planted the seeds for a Canelo fight, his critics and even some of his own fans doubted this whole idea due to the perception that Crawford is a significantly smaller fighter than Canelo. This was likely and mostly due to the fact that Crawford was known for fighting at 147 while Canelo has been dominating 168 and even briefly campaigning at 175. Now, this argument was dismissed when both men faced off, showing that Canelo and Crawford are not only pretty much the same size. Crawford himself said that he's not too pressed about fighting at 168 because if anything, he's actually quote-unquote fighting at his natural weight and wouldn't have to go through much of a weight cut. Now, regardless of how you want to translate that statement from Crawford, the fact of the matter is that Crawford's super middleweight division debut is being acknowledged by the WBO when the sanctioning body formally ranked the Omaha native as first in their 168-pound list of fighters. Simply put, Terence Crawford is the official and legitimate #1 contender for the 168-pound undisputed title. So with that being said, the narrative that Crawford is a much smaller guy is no longer the subject being debated here, since both men are not only coming in at the same weight, but also have the same stats in all relevant measurements. Crawford's own trainer, Bomac, said that the whole size debate is overplayed and that people won't see any size difference come fight night, and that fans should focus on arguing about Canelo and Crawford's skill set and not their size, basically implying and suggesting there's nothing to argue about in that department and that there really isn't any actual physical size difference between Canelo and Crawford. So given those statements from Crawford's camp, does this mean that Canelo is not fighting a smaller fighter after all, but rather fighting someone his own size who the public only perceived as a smaller fighter before all of this due to his reputation of fighting at a lower weight class? If that's the case, how will this affect the public's way of giving recognition and credit to Canelo if he ends up winning? Once again, folks, there's so much debate coming in from both fan bases with multiple arguments being presented as we get closer to this fight. However, for me personally, I think whoever wins this fight deserves all the credit since both men have proven themselves in their own respective ways. Now, in more boxing news, Romero vs Garcia Part 2 this coming December could be Ryan Garcia's win or go home moment. In a report published by Ring Magazine, it's been said that both camps have now entered advanced talks for their rematch to take place as early as December. Now, should this fight actually materialize, the pressure is on Garcia and this fight will either make or break Ryan Garcia's once promising career. After a boatload of personal challenges before and after his fight against Devin Haney, being suspended, a lackluster comeback fight against Rolly, injuries here and there, unfortunately, Ryan Garcia's career has plateaued, with the line leaning more on a downfall rather than an optimistic upward trajectory. With that being said, another loss to Rolly Romero, although not necessarily ending his career per se, could result in something that may lead Ryan Garcia there eventually. Ryan Garcia, who underwent hand surgery right after his fight, said that with healthy hands coming into his rematch, he's confident that he'll be fully able to redeem himself. Anyway, what are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, please don't forget to click that like and subscribe button for more